Well, that was interesting. I was doing my video. Incidentally, this is Roger Thunder. The channel is The Desert Shaman. That was interesting because I was doing a video and we had a power outage, so shit canned that video, ruined it. Anyway, the video I'm doing, and I will attempt this again, is about the martial arts, a follow-up of the last video. Now, you should watch the last video if you want to get some kind of conception as to what I'm talking about and what my background is and who I trained with and my history of myself in the martial arts and what gives me the credentials to even teach. Okay. So where should I start here? Well, since my last video, since I said I was going to be showing you some things, teaching you some things, I kind of perused around in my library and I came up with some old manuals that I had. And I also found some videos and some actual websites where I published when I was at the peak of doing my martial arts, or let's say inspired to teach others, which I did for a long time. I came up with some materials that I had, and one of these is called Hostile Control Systems with Jerry Peterson. Hand-to-hand fighting system based upon the science of autonomic reflex actions. It's a great book. This Hostile Control Systems was actually the system that I was talking about that my sensei developed. In the last video, I was talking about the system that my sensei developed to teach the Navy SEALs out on Coronado. And so you might want to go, review that. This is a manual. This is called Hostile Control Systems, which was based on the SCARS system, the Special Combat Aggressive Reactionary Systems. This was for the general public, in other words, and not only that, but it was for police departments and private bodyguards and things like that. So hopefully I will be able to impart a little bit of information to you today. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this because I might set up a course with, maybe a donation, but I can give you a preview. I might set up a video course that you can access through maybe donating a little bit at my website, spiritofcrazyhorse.com. But what I'm going to do right now is kind of give you a preview. So I was talking about this manual, and I was talking about autonomic reactions and offensive mindset. That's in here as well. Okay, offensive mindset. So when we're talking about offensive mindset, we're talking about, are you in a defensive mode? Are you in or are you in an offensive mode? It's state of mind, okay? It's basically state of mind. And so my sensei said years and years and years ago that there is no such thing, if you're a true warrior and a true fighter, as a defensive mindset. It should be an offensive mindset. The minute anybody goes to strike you, you should have enough negative proximity factor awareness to be able to detect any kind of movement which is threatening or moving towards you, even intention, even energy. And you know what's coming before it's even coming, okay? So as they go to throw, let's say, as an example, they go to throw a punch at you, you see every little movement they do, and you see the fist rising and the arm moving. which gives you the awareness to strike immediately, okay? And even if you're blocking a punch, let's say somebody throws a right punch at you, when you strike that right punch, or when you evade it through a strike or a windmill strike or some kind of movement, that movement has to be a strike. It has to be a deadly, shocking strike. It has to put shock into their body. It has to jar them up, okay? It has to take them off balance. That puts you as the offensive energy and them as the defensive energy. So if you're on the defensive end of it, you're playing catch up all the time. You're not really getting ahead of the curve. You're not in control. They're in control. You're constantly fighting off what's coming next, okay? Whereas if you take control and you have the offensive mindset and everything is a strike or a kill move or a, yeah, I know this is brutal, but this is fact of life. This is reality. This is what you have to do to neutralize a threat or an opponent that means you harm. You have to neutralize it, and you will do whatever you need to do to neutralize it based upon your conception or your perception or your feeling of if that person is the kind of person that's going to fold, when you hit them or strike them, or are they high on PCP or some other drug and they're just going to keep coming at you no matter what. That will determine how much you will neutralize them. It will determine that. For your own safety and your own well-being, you must determine that. And when you neutralize somebody, it can be from one extreme to the other. Let's put it that way. Depending on, your choice. But if you have the offensive mindset, then it's going to be your choice. It's not going to be their choice. Let's get into the autonomic reactions, just as giving you a little taste of how you should fight, okay? And it's based entirely on science in a sense, okay? And the way that it is that an autonomic reaction is a certain reaction that your body will go into if you're punched, or if there's a strike against a certain part of the body. So the rule is there's a center line and then there's a midline. And anything that you strike in that is going to have a definite reaction. So let's say if you strike somebody on the collarbone, on one side, they're going to spin towards that side. It's going to be, and if you strike them on the other side, they're going to spin towards that side. Or if you strike them in the face or throat, they're going to go back and throw their hands up. Or if you kick them in the groin, they're going to bend forward, okay? All of these things, autonomic reactions, have to be known and practiced, okay? And when you're with your partner, which you should have a partner, you should have a workout partner to do this with. Just pick somebody you know that might be interested in doing this with you. You're going to have to learn how to perform autonomic reactions. So when we worked out in the dojo, yes, we were actually fighting, okay? And how did it get to that point of fighting? Well, let's say you set somebody up for a punch and you punch them in the stomach. That person knows what that autonomic reaction should be, so they emphasize it. They go over it. That's your partner setting you up for the next strike against him, okay? And then he does it to you. You know the autonomic reactions. And when your partner throws a punch to your midsection, you at the same time simultaneously bend over, okay, as what, performing what that autonomic reaction would be. Now, what happens when you start doing that? you start working out and you throw a punch, or you do a, you do a collarbone break with the iron pipe here. This is called the iron pipe. This side of your arm here is called the iron pipe. Why? Because it doesn't have any nerves in here. It's next to the bone, doesn't have too many nerves. When you use that iron pipe in a forceful manner, either down on somebody's radial nerve, like this, boom, you shock that nerve. And you must know all the nerves in the body that you can hit to shock, okay? Now, when you do that, when you come down, it causes an autonomic reaction. The person is going to reach towards that arm. They're going to bend. Or if you hit them up here in the collarbone, they're going to reach for that area, or they're going to bend a certain way, or they're going to move a certain way. So what you do is you set the person up on the first strike for the next strike, and then the next strike, and then the next strike. Each move is a strike, and each move is a setup. So that when you get this stuff down with your partner, as you move from strike to punch to claw to heel palm to whatever, and you apply that strike, pretty soon it's like a dance, and you're actually fighting with each other, and you're going through the motions. At that point, you're actually throwing punches, but the punches aren't hurting because the person is going into the autonomic reaction at the same time you're throwing the punch or the strike or whatever. So these are things that this is based on. This is the concept this is based on, is actually fighting with your partner, okay? But it doesn't hurt because you've learned how to set up the autonomic reactions and go with the flow. Now, am I saying that you never get hurt? Hell no, you get all kinds of injuries. You actually get into fights and come out of them unscathed, okay? But you're actually fighting, okay? This is the difference between going to some candy-ass little, dojo that is, teaching mainly basically geared toward kids or whatever, and they're just teaching them forms and katas. They're not actually fighting here. They're not really fighting. Do you pull your punches? You pull your punches at first until the person gets used to that autonomic reaction, and then you don't pull them anymore, because if you hit somebody, they're already taking the blow. And that teaches you how to take blows as well. If you know you're going to take a blow, then you do the autonomic reaction before the blow comes, which lessens the blow, softens the blow, that type thing. And there's several things, there's several things that I'm not touching on here. I'm giving you a taste. So let's go into a website that I created at one time, and let me pop. So here's something that I developed called the Apache Trackers Fighting System, hand-to-hand combat. And like I say, I might make this available for free, or maybe I'm thinking about on a donation basis where I could just send you the link or whatever. I haven't decided yet, but I'm just giving you a preview here of what you could learn. So if you click on mindset, you get an explanation of what I was just talking about with offensive mindset and all that good shit. Then you go to the next site, the next page, and you'll start getting into up windmill strikes. Notice it's called a strike, not a block. Up windmill strike, down windmill strike. And then it has an explanation here. A windmill strike is a first strike using the forearm or the ulnar bone as a hammer, which I just showed you there, coming down on the perineal nerve or the saphenous nerve. And so you could stop this video and read this if you want. I'm already giving this stuff away for free, aren't I? In a sense. One knuckle punch, two knuckle punch, four knuckle punch, explanation of how it's used. Open hand, heel palm hand, open hand, claw hand, heel palm, strike horizontally to the lower rib cage, solar plexus, bladder, and so forth. Strike up to the groin, chin, nose, and so forth. Gives explanations in here, okay? Got the knee as a weapon. All these things are weapons. The elbow, the knee, the ball of the foot, all of this stuff. Got strike charts here, showing all the nerves on the body, all the internal organs, all the points on the body that are good to strike if you're wanting to take somebody out. Okay, and here we have the back of the body, so I got that in there too as well. Then we got leverages, how to apply leverages, or what I call joint locks or bone locks. More leverages, more explanations. Then you get the basic 20. This is the basic 20 lessons. You're not going to understand this unless you go through it and look at all the previous stuff that I just showed you and read stuff, and then you're going to start knowing. So the basic 20 are lessons that you can do with your partner. They throw a left punch. Okay, right windmill to outside, grab arm and pull opponent off balance, and concurrent left judo chop to right side of neck, carotid artery. Then slide hand up into tight hair grab, let go of opponent's left arm with your right, execute a heel palm to the, see, so it's got all the different successive moves, the setting up of autonomic moves that I explained before. So, just a little taste of something that I set up. Like I say, I went through so many years of martial arts and hardcore Kung Fu Sansu, Soi Li Ho Hong, Aikido, Tai Chi, Sistema. This is in my last video. I got to the point where I went beyond the belt system and I became a master on my own. Okay, it's just like once you learn as much as you can learn, and you never really stop learning, but let's say when you get to a certain point, then you realize that you're able to teach others and you have mastered the craft or the art, and that you're able to teach others and you're able to impart wisdom and energy. And another thing I didn't mention here is I also studied the art of, in my last video I didn't mention, I also studied the art of naked kill. What's naked kill? Well, naked kill is you're basically without, let's say, a weapon. You always have weapons in this system. Your hands, your feet, your elbows, your whatever, your shoulder, anything can be used as a weapon. But let's say you want an additional weapon. Okay, let's say you want to use just an everyday household item or something laying around. The art of naked kill, as was first presented by a author, Trevanian, in Shibumi, the great novel Shibumi, he exposed what the art of naked kill was in that. And that's using a pencil, a pen, a glass of water, a coffee cup, a rolled up magazine, all kinds of different things that you could grab and use instantly that might just be laying around when confronted with an attack, okay? So all of these things that I have studied, I have incorporated or did incorporate into what you just saw. that's just a partial. And I also cover, I didn't go further in there because I also cover weapons, different kinds of blades, different kinds of guns, what the proper one would be to have, what the smallest concealed one is, what a hardcore drop in the mud, stainless steel. I go into all kinds of things. Stainless steel knives, Tontos. So this is just kind of a follow-up on my last video, imparting to you, and I said I was going to teach you some things, show you some things, and this is it, okay? Now, just to show you a few more things, or impart a few more things to you before I end this video, let me just explain some things that I use that are helpful. So I already mentioned the iron pipe and the hammer fist, okay? And this is the iron pipe here, and when it comes down on the radial nerve, it shocks the nerve, it numbs the arm, and if the hand is holding a gun or knife, it releases, okay? Once you hit that nerve, it releases. It's another autonomic reaction. That's one thing that you can use right there to block a punch, or I should say strike a punch, because you don't block, you strike, okay? It's not a block, everything is a strike. There's heel palm, there's an open palm that you can use here like this, just to right into the throat. There's a heel palm to the heart, and you never use the heel palm with the fingers faced upward, because when they bend over or when they make a move, it can hurt your fingers. So you always go off to the side with the heel palm. You don't go up like this. You always go off to the side, which not only strikes their heart, which could be a kill shot right there, or a shot to any nerve system. There's nerves in the face and in the neck, and then there's arteries and things of that nature. Now, if there's also the comb grab to the hair. So, this is not fair fighting. This is not, okay, so some people in the old days used to say, oh, that's not fair, you can't do that. No, you do anything you want to do, and you do it quickly and brutally and end the situation immediately. That's what you do. So there's things like the comb grab of the hair, just like you're combing your hair, only you come in real tight to the person's skull and slide your hand up and grab a bunch of hair. Well, right away you got control of them. You can do neck breaks, you can do all kinds of things. All right, remember, this stuff that I'm talking about is not your pansy ass, candy ass stuff. It's brutal stuff. It's stuff that is meant to end the situation immediately in your favor, okay? Now let me think about something else here. Let's say an autonomic reaction. Let's say you come up with a shin kick to the groin. And see, a shin kick is different than a toe kick or the ball of your foot kick to the groin. It's devastating. You come up like you're kicking a football. You've seen these guys getting ready to punt on the football field. You actually come up like you're punting a football, only you come up with your shin between the legs to the groin, okay? Which is devastating. Think about it. Now, when that happens, the person bends forward in an autonomic reaction, okay? Which puts their head right in front of you, and then you just do two comb grabs right to their hair, grab both with both hands into their hair, into their skull. You got complete control. They're bent over. Then all you need to do is push down at a 45-degree angle, down and back, if you can picture that. The person's bent over, you got their head, you're pushing them down and back at a 45-degree angle to the ground, which causes their body to act like a spring, okay? And when it hits the ground on their ass, they the spring continues and their head goes back and hits the concrete. Okay. Over. Party over. 2 moves. That's what I'm talking about. 2 or 3 moves in a couple of seconds. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about instantaneous, brutal action. Any kind of martial art has to be on the brutal end of it to end things quickly. So I think I've imparted a little bit more information. Like I say, I was doing this video and we had a power outage and it lasted for like 2 minutes. You don't want power outages in the middle of the desert in 90-degree weather, okay? You just don't. So I'm glad it only lasted a little bit. However, I do have a generator as a backup and a small cooler, so, you know, that type of thing. Able to hook up refrigerators, and I think what happened is they're working on the line down here and they probably shut off the power for a second. Now here's to continue on with this. You know, if you want to hear more about this, if you want me to do more, leave it in the comment section. Donations are always welcome at spiritofcrazyhorse.com. Like this video, share it. Share it with people that you think might need to know, which is everybody. Everybody needs to know this stuff because what's coming? What's coming down the road here? Well, I'll tell you what's coming. The way things are looking now, utter chaos, raping and pillaging and raiding your house and doing all that stuff is not out of the realm of possibility here. In fact, it's very much in the realm. So just for shits and grins, do you want to be a victim, or do you want, you know, do you want to be able to at least put up a fight? Okay. Now, when we're talking about martial arts here, this extends all the way into anything that could be used as a weapon. That means firearms as well, which I am completely familiar with, and completely take apart, dismantle, clean, put back together in a matter of minutes, okay? This is something I know since I've been a gunsmith for years. Then we got edged weapons, okay, which are anything that has an edge on it. A pocket knife, a Tonto knife. I really like Cold Steel's Tonto. A samurai sword, which I also have. Then you have staffs, wooden staffs, and eskrima sticks, which are like a wooden staff cut in half that you use, that are bamboo that you use with each hand. There's all kinds of things that are weapons that I have studied and used and looked at from different situations. You always train you should always train to be able to take a knife or a gun out of a person's hand and stick it up their ass, basically. Anybody that does that to you deserves what they get, okay? Now, this stuff all comes in handy, and in as fact is once you know this stuff, you become confident. They can take your life, see, but they can't take your confidence. It's my sensei. They can take your life, but they can't take your confidence. And more than likely, they're not going to take your life if you have the confidence to move quickly, decisively, with intent. Like a friend of mine says, and he might be watching this video, crossing the threshold of cruelty. You have to be able to do that, okay? And it's not being cruel in the sense of some kind of titillation or joy out of hurting others. It's a sense of being able to defend yourself, take care of yourself and your family and your children or your loved ones or whoever, and to do it efficiently and do it in the easiest way possible. No, we're not monstrous people out to harm people and go out and pick fights at the bar and stuff like that. No. But if you happen to be in a bar and somebody picks up a fight with you, you got to be ready for it. Because there's crazy, crazy fucking people out there everywhere that do stupid shit things and are drunk and out of their minds. And then, there's all kinds of situations, car accidents, road rage, somebody in a supermarket flipping out with an automatic weapon. Who would be the guy to take them down before they even get a glimpse of killing anybody? Well, it would be somebody like me or you who knows how to take matters into their own hands, who knows how to control situations. Now, see, this is good in everyday life, too. This goes right on out to the spiritual level. This goes right on out to having energy control. And this is so deep, the martial arts, that you can't even comprehend how you can do this on an energy level with some of the softer arts, which really aren't softer, like Tai Chi and Aikido and stuff like that, or Aikido. You are able to not only do this stuff on a physical level, but get this, you can do this stuff on an energy level as well. Okay, you can use these concepts as ways to think and get through life and fend off situations. Let's remember, books like The Art of War and Musashi's Book of Five Rings and all of these other ancient martial arts manuals have been used in business as well. Okay? The Japanese businessman's handbook is Musashi's Book of Five Rings. That's why they're so good at what they do. So you can use this stuff in any area of your life. This is very important shit, okay? So don't just blow it off and think that, I don't need that. You need it. You need it. It's something that you should have in your quiver, your arsenal, your database, okay? As a person walking around on a very, very fucking dangerous planet. So I'm not decided yet about. I could even do videos showing you the moves, standing up and actually performing the moves. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I think that I do kind of feel an obligation to pass some of this stuff on, especially like my grandson might be watching, and vulnerable women out there that have no clue as to what's going on in somebody's mind as if the shit came down and we're like in the day after tomorrow or apocalyptic whatever, or just hard fucking times, people flipping out. So this is good shit to know, and I think I'm going to just kind of leave it there today. Let you think about these things and leave comments. Do you want to hear more of this stuff? Would you pay a donation if I said I wanted a donation to have you have access to a course? These are things that you need to just let me know. I figured I would talk about this right now. Something is urging me to talk about this kind of thing because I kind of feel something coming here. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Till next time, this is Roger Thunder Audios.